Yo, what's up, zingers? Hello again. I feel like I just saw you guys. Welcome back to another episode of Futures Fever. I'm your host, Kevin Dubriske, and do I have a great episode for us? As always, we have the great Peter Tuchman and the amazing David Green. We're going to do some technical analysis. I'm going to tell you guys what Apex Trader Funding is and how you could profit with a prop firm. So let's get into it. So, guys, what's on today's agenda? Oh, that would help if I shared my screen. What is on today's agenda, guys? We're going to do some giveaways. We're going to do some live market analysis, tons of stuff. So benefits of Apex Trader Funding. Apex provides traders, whether you're a week new into trading, a day into trading, 10 years into trading, it provides traders with funded accounts, eliminating personal capital risk. This is huge, guys. This is something that hasn't been around in the market. Did I click something? That hasn't been around in the market until just recently. You get access to firm capital to trade the futures market, and you earn up to 90% of profits and 100% of the first 25,000. I know I've written right here 20,000, but you actually keep the first 25,000 you make with them per account. So it helps you trade with the peace of mind that you have zero personal liability. You buy an eval, you pass the eval, you get funded, you get your payout. If you blow your eval, you blow your funded, you just start right back to square one. It's a three-step process. We complete the evaluation account. We show Apex that we're consistent and profitable traders. We have proper risk management. We get funded, and that's when we trade live using Apex's capital. Sometimes, even though we're funded, we might still be on a simulation account, but don't worry because Apex will still give you a payout. They will never refuse a payout as long as you follow the rules. And guys, if you do want to know more about Apex and the rules they have, I'm going to be hosting a free webinar this Saturday. That's May 17th at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to post the link in the comments below. Make sure you guys are there. And I'm also going to be doing a free Apex giveaway there as well. So step 3 is, of course, get paid out. Once you get on that funded account, you have to surpass a certain point, and then you're able to take payouts against that account. There's no long-term contracts. There's flexible rules and scalable opportunities. You don't have to scale into how many contracts you get in. You could scale into how many accounts you're trading. So if you're used to and emotionally ready to trade and risk $50, $100, $200, then you could stick with that same risk and have multiple accounts. So you're not psychologically taking on a harder risk. Win a free evaluation account, guys. Enter by filling out the form in the comments. It's going to be right down in the comments. Last week's winner was PJ. Congratulations, PJ, on winning a free Apex Trader evaluation account. You get to pick which account size you want, 25K all the way up to 300,000. Guys, join us every Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern for a chance to win. Now, let's bring on the two most amazing guests, Peter Tuchman and David Green. Guys, welcome. How's it going? What crazy markets we're seeing this past 2 weeks? Am I right?
Never give up. Never give up. Peter was right the whole time.
You know what? Absolutely. That's the crazy thing about it. You know, you're wondering, every sell-off that we had in 2024, we talked about was a pullback, a sell-off, consolidation. Dave and I rarely will ever use the word crash. I kind of called this one a mini crash because it was down 20% from the highs in a short period of time is legitimately a mini crash. But that doesn't mean that's where we're going to stay. Yet, every time we've had one of these things, whether it was a crash, pullback, consolidation, it's been nothing more than the buying opportunity. Over time, we know, and David always says it, net, every pullback we've seen since 1900 whatever has been a better buying opportunity than a selling opportunity.
Yeah, 100%. And you know we had, I don't know, what was it, April 4th, Pete, that we had our emergency meeting on that Sunday night when the markets hit their absolute lows. We had an emergency meeting, and I saw people throwing out the baby with the bathwater. I'm getting out. I can't take the pain anymore. And we were on there shouting from the rooftops, guys, please. This is another generational buying opportunity.
Absolutely.
We took advantage of it. And everybody should be thrilled where we are right now. I don't know where we go from here, but everybody should be thrilled where we are right now. We are up on a year now, Pete, I think.
We are. So where we are, just to give you all perspective, first of all, and I will always admit when I'm wrong. When we were in it, it did look pretty dark. We did not know. We were down 20%, and we did not have any tariff deals. We had no clarity coming out of the White House, and everybody was really feeling bad. People's 401ks were 201ks. Stocks were down. The market overall was down 20%. Some stocks were down way more than that, with nothing but darkness in sight. From the trough to the top, April 7th until May 2nd, we are actually up 20.8%. Okay. By definition, we've now gone from a bear market to an actual bull market, and that didn't include yesterday and today. So obviously, we just saw the market pull back a little bit. But net, everyone needs to look at this and look at it in perspective. When you're in the midst of all that, it definitely does look scary. And it definitely feels like, oh my God, this is a point. You know, I said it over and over when we were on with you last time. Are we going to look back at this as a point where I should have sold because things are going to get a lot worse? Or am I going to look back at this as a time I should have hunkered down and bought? The old is an old look. If you ever watched the movie Caddyshack, it's like everybody's selling, then buy. Everybody's been buying, then sell. Net, historically, that's the way things are. We did not know what the future was going to look like. Right where we are now, the market looks spectacular. We have a deal with China. We have a platform. We don't know what the particular numbers are, right? NVIDIA and AMD just signed a deal with Saudi Arabia. NVIDIA, which had been cut back from selling to China, it turned out that the chip that Mr. Trump outlawed NVIDIA selling to China was an old archaic chip anyway. So that was all a bunch of smoke and mirrors. The bottom line, the new chip that NVIDIA came out just made a deal with Saudi Arabia yesterday. That's a $400 or $500 billion deal. So, you know, at the end of the day, we're on the look. What happens, like David just said, what happens tomorrow, we don't know. Do we find some continuity in what's happening? Surely we hope so. Right? Hopefully we'll have more deals down the road. Hopefully we'll have some clarity about the cost of what these tariffs are going to be. The bottom line is we were looking at a complete interruption of the supply chain. We had company after company, Ford, GM, United Airlines, that were not able to give guidance. We just had one yesterday. They were not able to give guidance. We have not seen that since COVID, when Jamie Dimon on November 2021 said, for the first time in history, I cannot give guidance on JP Morgan stock going forward. Everyone knows, right? Earnings are what happened last week. Guidance what's happening next week. And if you don't have clarity or certainty around what's happening with cost of goods sold and all that, you can't give guidance. And multiple companies, the biggest of the big, Ford and GM, a lot of small companies are not able to predict what's going to happen when the tariffs were looking at 145%. If I make a product for 20 and I usually sell it for 40, and now the potential of a tariff is $6, I don't even want to take delivery of my product because it may cost me more to buy it. Whole thing. So that's what we were looking at. So the sell-off was legitimate with the information we had. Now we're starting to get a lot more information and clarity, even though we don't know numbers. But we did find out that it's not going to be 145, it's going to be 30%. And that the Chinese on the reciprocal tariffs have gone down from 80 to 10. So that's a huge start. So all the ships that are lined up in China Harbor, right, that were not able to fill themselves with merchandise for the back to school for Christmas, are now going to be able to fill their boats with product and end up, the lead time is 6 to 8 months coming to the United States. There was the port of LA was running at 50% efficiency. People did not want to deliver product to the US because they did not know the cost of goods sold. We have a student who is a trader who is at Wall Street Global Trading, who texted me that he used to have to reserve a spot in a truck stop in the Midwest a month in advance so that he could sleep overnight. And he delivered agricultural products coming across the US. He texted me last week that you did not have to 40% vacancy in the truck stops in the Midwest, meaning that product was not being delivered because the cost was so unknown. So a lot of this is now gone from deep unknowns to some clarity. We still don't know a lot, but the market has responded beautifully. We had 9 up days. That was a big deal. Okay, that was sort of the market walk, climbing a wall of worry. That's an old Wall Street term. That when things look really bad, market can get sold off even more, or people can buy it in anticipation of good times to come. Because at the end of the day, it all works out. We've seen it happen for the last 100 years. Every selling thing that we've had, whether it was COVID, the crash of '08, all those things have been rebuffed by much grander rallies. And that, you know what, my gut is that we're going to close out the year way up double digits like we have the last things, because we've got good growth, taking out the tariffs and taking out a lot of the uncertainty that we've had over the last month. The economy's in good shape. The market's in good shape. A lot of this was self-inflicted. We keep going forward. Look, at the end of the day, none of this matters. We are day traders. We have a great platform in Apex where you can trade futures funded trading. You've got the great school of Wall Street Global Trading Academy. David Green, former market maker, is the #1 tech trader in the world, in my opinion. That's why we've collaborated, and that's why we love working with Apex. You need, whether market goes up or down, you still need to know the rules of the game. The rules of the game are having a plan when you get into a trade, using price action and technicals to get into a trade, not trading on FOMO and hype and hope, using a stop order every time, taking a profit when you can, knowing when to stop trading when you're making money and losing money. That's what David is a master at. So I passed to my man Dave.
Do we still have time, Kev?
We got 11
We got time, man.
What's up, Jay Rice? Look, I'm never negative or positive on the market. Okay, that's I'm a trader, right? When we have these extremes, I give my opinion. And happened to be a few weeks ago, we happened to be right and caught the bottom in a lot of things. But let's talk technicals now. I can tell you guys this, and I don't know about you guys who are trading Apex Live. I've had less trades in the last 3 days than sometimes I have in an entire day. Sometimes when the market goes straight up, unless you're catching that trend trade, it's very difficult. Yesterday, not a lot going on. Same kind of thing. Today, not a lot going on. If we can share my chart.
Yeah, let's get it up there.
Get the chart up there. I'll show you today. Today has just been, I mean, this is just chop, chop, chop. Anything you tried to do today, it really didn't work. You know, we spiked up a little this morning. We spiked down here for no reason. Now it looks like to me that we might be setting up for a little trend trade. So what I'm looking to do now is buy a pullback to one of my moving averages and get long. So I have a couple orders out, and I'll show you if we do it in our Apex. Let me get my PA up there. I just wanted to share something with you guys, okay? And keep in mind, guys and girls, that I am busy with my traders and students all day long. So I really don't even have a lot of time to go to this stuff, but I just wanted to show you guys. This is my PA account. I've had it for 30 days. I'm up $21,000. And I've taken a few payouts from it. I'm not a big trader. I trade 2 contracts. That's usually my maximum contracts. I got a couple of PA accounts that I recently qualified that I haven't even started trading yet. And I've had them for a couple of days. It just hasn't been a lot to do. So when there's not a lot to do, it's okay. You can be on the sidelines rather than force things on where you're going to lose money more often than not. Everything that we do, guys and girls, is based on technical analysis. But I want to talk about Apex just for a couple of minutes, Kev.
Yeah.
You know, for us, Apex is one of the best, if not the. We have an 80% sell-off right now, Kev, 80%?
Yeah, 80% sale. It's still running. If you want to talk about it, I'll pull up the Apex website.
Okay, so for everybody out there, this is what I started with. I think I had an 80%, 80 or even 90 we ran one time. It was $16 to open up an account, right? And just slowly built it up to where we are now. But I think it's now it's $33. Do we have 1 day qualifying still, Kev?
Yep, one day to qualify, 80% off evals plus 80% off recurring months. So guys, you don't have to pass the eval in that month. Take your time on it. If it takes you a little time and you're getting comfortable with it, there's no reason to rush it. Do they give you the opportunity to get funded in 1 day? Yes. Does that mean you have to force it? No way.
Yeah, 100%. You could take as much time as you have to with this. Again, you know, you start small. You start trading 1 or 2 contracts. Once you prove to yourself you're journaling all your trades and everything, go up to 3 contracts. Start with even the MESs, then move up to the ESs. There is no hurry as far as qualifying these accounts are. Got to follow all the rules, Okay, we have a 30% rule. We can't make more than 30% of our profits in any one day.
Yep.
That you have to follow. As far as getting paid, you follow all the rules, you get paid. And I know there's a lot of people out there that say, "Oh, I can't get paid from this." You get paid, but you just have to follow the rules. Okay,
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. In any prop firm, you have to follow the rules. But
That's
it's
right.
a
Listen,
great way to learn how to trade. It is a great way, and the opportunity cost to do this is just incredible. It just is. Most people would used to be we need to have $25,000 in a trading account to avoid the pattern day trader rule, right? And that's gone now. And that's one of the beautiful things about Apex is that for $33, then you got to come up with a system that works for you. I'll talk about some of my technicals and stuff in a couple of minutes. I'll show you guys exactly what we do all day long. But for the investment that you can make to start trading now, it's just incredible. And there's no reason. I don't use my own money when I trade futures. I have a Interactive Brokers trading account. I have $27,000 in there, so I'm above the PD2 rule. But I will not use that to trade futures. Why? Why would I risk my own capital and my own money when for $33 I can open up an account and get it to the point where we start taking the money? So anybody who's out there that doesn't have an account yet, and we're going to offer you guys a couple of things before we get out of here. I know we have a lot of time today. I'm going to invite everybody here to come into my private trading room, watch us trade live for a week. Every single trade that we do is posted live in real time. Entries, exits, profit targets, stop losses. We do a bunch of teaching during the week also. Can't do it next week because we have our live boot camp. When I have my live boot camp, and I think we have like over 100 people signed up for the live boot camp. That is when anybody who has purchased our course, we go over the entire course live in real time. And if anyone's interested in the course, that is at Wall Street Global Trading, WSGTA.com. So let's figure out where we are right now, okay? Here is a chart of my MESs. Everybody can see it. All right, let's stretch it out a little bit. All right. So I think now we've established a little uptrend, okay? And my moving average that I use are a 9, a 15, a 30, a 65, and a 200. And when stocks are in uptrends, I want to buy them. And check this out. This actually just happened. I want to buy when they pull back to my trend lines. And we just pulled back to our 9 EMA. And the exact price tells us up here, 59, let's call it 12. Okay. And the low we just hit was 59.12. We exactly hit our trend line. So when stocks are trending up, I want to get long when they pull back. So if we just got that stock at 59.12, it's already in a 3-point profit. So what I'm looking for now, and because we missed it, I'm going to put an order out at my 65 EMA and my 30 EMA now. And we also have our VWAP down here, right around 59.09. So I'm going to put a live order out there at 59.09. I'll show you guys in my account if we can get a pullback to get into this trend. Boom. Show you guys how easy it is to place orders in your account with Apex too. I use Tradeovate. You can use Tradeovate. You can use Ninja Trading, whatever you're more comfortable with, whatever works for you. So here is my Tradeovate account. This is my live PA. Okay, so I'm going to put an order in to buy it down on my VWAP at 59.09. And I'll put 2 contracts out. I usually do 2 contracts when I do a trade. So I have my order out at 59.09. I won't risk more than 5 points. That's my stop order when I get into an ES. I won't risk more than 5 points on it. So if it gets down to 59.04, it'll kick me out of the trade. And if it gets down there, once I have a 2 or 3 point profit, I'll sell half of my trade. Always. Once I get into a profit of 2 or 3 points, I want to sell half of my trade. And then I want to raise my stop up so I cannot lose money on that trade. Mega, mega important, guys and girls. Once I have a profit on any trade that I do, I'm going to raise my stop order so I cannot lose money on that trade. Okay. And then I'll see how much more I can get out of the second part of my trade. Sometimes we make the most money when what we do is we trail a stop order. So once I get my first couple of points on it, I'll just keep raising my stop to lock in profit, lock in profit, lock in profit, lock in profit. And any trade that we do, we want to hit our levels quickly. So if we start coming down now, Okay. I have my VWAP 5909, and then I have my 200 EMA, which is the strongest of my moving averages, right around 5906. So anytime I'm looking to get into a trade, I want it to happen as fast as possible. So if we kind of meander down here, I'll go to my next conservative level, which is around 5906. And that's what we're going to do for now. We'll put out 5906 just because we're talking here. And I'd rather be talking to you guys than worried about trading, quite frankly. So we'll pop that out there at 5906, and we'll see if that happens while we're talking here. Most of the day today, guys, I have spent doing nothing. Zero. And that's okay. It's okay.
That's the price action provided to us today.
Yeah, it's just been very choppy. I mean, look at the chart. We spike up, we spike down. We spike up, we spike down. We spike up. And like I said, now it seems like we're settling to a little trend here. So you can see, again, we just tested the 9 EMA, and we bounced off that 9 EMA. Now, people, I don't have the holy grail of technical analysis. Nobody does, right? I'm sharing with you everything that I use. I use my 5 moving averages for support and resistance. I use relative strength, guys and girls, and relative strength I use to show me whether something is overbought or oversold. If the relative strength gets up near 80, it's telling me that something is overbought and we can look for a pullback. So the reading of close to 80 or above means that it's stretched out to the upside and we can expect a pullback. And when we get a reading close to 20 or lower on the downside, it means we can expect a reversal from there and a bounce from there. And you can see, you know, we got to about 75 here, we pulled back. We got to about 30 here, and we bounced up. So those are the technicals that I use. Also in my charts, I have my previous day high, my previous day close, my previous week high, my previous week low. So those are a bunch of the technicals that I use. It is the banner says 90% off, and Evan, get that fixed.
Oh, sorry guys. Yeah, it's 80%
guys,
off.
You gotta honor that now.
That's right, guys. David said he'll pay the difference.
No problem. I will. What is it? 33 to that's $16 an account. No, we might have 500 accounts open in here. It must be $9,000.
Hey, thank you, Brett. I appreciate that. Yeah, I know it's funny. I got a baby face. I'm 26 though, so not as young.
I have socks older than you, Kevin.
Yeah, right. I'm surprised I'm not fully gray yet.
Also, one thing we have to be aware of, and Pete can talk to this too, we could get tweeted and trumped at any moment, okay?
Yep.
Get used to this, guys and girls. This is going to be the market for the next 4 years. And this is just, Pete, am I right or am I wrong? This is a 90-day pause, right? Is anything written? Is anything done actually on paper? You're muted, Pete.
He's muted. He muted me. There you go.
Okay. There you go.
Okay. So
yeah,
yeah.
Is anything ever on pen and paper, actually?
No. So we are actually in a 90-day pause. So no real numbers are actually etched in stone here. So that's why a lot of this is visuals and a lot of it's the way we're perceiving these things. So this could all change down the road. But what's important, what David just said to everyone, when you're trading this market, look, we've seen volatile times in the past. I don't think look, even with Trump 1.0, things were pretty wild. The day that he started mentioning tariffs and China, the market actually sold off 1,400 points that day. It was during the first administration. By the end of the day, we had rallied 2,800 points and closed. We actually went in one day from a bear market to a bull market. So these are unheard of times of volatility, but volatility is the lifeblood of a day trader. We are here trying to teach you guys how to hit singles and doubles, right? There are rules and there are sort of what do you call it, not styles, but there are things that people do who are unsuccessful traders do, and there are things that successful traders do, right? All the things that David teaches, which are super important for you all to become successful, right, are things like picking a target of how much money you want to make in your day, having a stop order. Basically, we can be in a trade for all the right reasons, right? It can set up because price action and technicals can all set us up for a beautiful trade, and a tweet can come out and we can blow up our trading account. So these are going to be hard times, but it's no better ever a time for somebody to learn how to trade this market. You've got Apex, a great platform. You've got Wall Street Global, which teaches you the components, the educational components of professional day trading. right? The rules that make somebody a good day trader are really, really simple. But what you need to do is, if you're going to come and hang out with David Green, whose policies and the standards are super special, right? Look, there are a lot of people out there teaching who have been, they learn how to trade for 2 years, and suddenly they're the holy grail, right? They're masters of their trade. David Green was a market maker in 1985 when we both started on the floor of the stock exchange. He retired at 99. He's been teaching for 20 years. Okay, he and I have seen every possible scenario that comes into a market. That's what you guys need. That experience is pivotal when learning how to trade a market. The technicals are based on historic data. We've seen this movie a million times. So it's helpful for you to learn from somebody who, first of all, has skin in the game, somebody like David who posts all his trades in real time, not somebody who's pumping and dumping and giving you a bunch of stuff that happened yesterday or may not even happen at all. But at the end of the day, you need to have a stop order on every trade. It's pivotal in a market that's being governed by a tweet. Literally, you can be in a trade for all the right reasons. Everything sets up, and then a tweet comes, and then everything goes to heck. So follow all the rules, right? And those are pivotal, because people who are making money are people who have a plan, how much you want to make in a day. When you hit your goal, you turn the machine off. Have a stop order on every trade. If this trade goes against you, you get stopped out. Doesn't make you a loser, doesn't make you a bad trader. You're in, okay, averaging into a trade, you're in a bad trade. I mean, these are David's rules. They're simple rules, but they make the difference between being successful and not successful. And also, one of the greatest rules is know when to stop trading when you're making money and you're losing money. If you hit your goal, turn the machine off. That's the best it's going to get. Time is one of those things that you can never get back. If you're having a bad day, okay, or you're in a stock, journaling is one of the things that we talk about at Wall Street Global all the time. Go over every trade, your winners and your losers. If you are in a stock and 4 times out of whether it's MES, ES, NQ, whatever you're trading, if every time you're in that you don't make money, move on to a different indice. It means it doesn't make you a loser or a bad trader. It's just one of those things that doesn't work. We do that with stocks. Sometimes you're in NVIDIA. Every time we trade NVIDIA, it doesn't work for us. Then don't trade NVIDIA. But there are certain standards that you guys, and journaling, I would say, is probably the key to really learning how to trade this market successfully. But you know what? Look, you can do that trading Apex, learning from David Green on. You know, we'd like to invite all of you tonight at 8 p.m. at Wall Street Global Trading Academy. We're having a masterclass, Trading in the New World of Trump, teaching technical analysis and risk management. If you could put it up there, go to WGTA.com. Go there and register for tonight's masterclass. Dave and I will be there a couple hours talking about day trading, talking about the market, talking about all the stuff necessary to become a successful trader. It's live, it's free. We'll be having some giveaways. It's really worth showing up for.
Yeah, I want to address Jay's question, because this is a good question, Jay. Does David ever swing, or does he go flat every night? I ask this because if you don't hold all the night, you miss these huge gaps up. Thank you. We can trade futures 23 and a half hours a day, guys and girls, right? Or 23 hours a day. So we close at, Kev, what is it, 4:15 till 6 o'clock?
So close from 5. So the
5,
New York session closes 4 o'clock. Futures market closes at 5 o'clock, opens back up at 6. Now, Jay, I do want to say, if you are on a prop firm, though, you cannot swing trade. You have to close out your positions before that futures day closes.
Right. So by 5 o'clock, you have to be out of any position that you have, and then you can get back in at 6 o'clock. So yeah, sometimes, Jay, I will be looking at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. And the one thing I will try to look for is if we have a trend trade setting up. And I have no problem if I get into a trend trade and have some profit in it, just putting my stop order in and going to sleep. I have no problem with that, because that's how you won't miss these huge gaps up. But I won't do it until I get into a trade where I have a little profit, okay? Have my stop order in there, so if I'm wrong, I don't lose any money. And yeah, if I'm right and that trend continues for the whole night, you can walk up and, wake up to be up 30, 40, 50 points. So that's the only time I will do it, is if I see something decent setting. I won't try to look for reversals or anything like that. If I get a nice trend setting up, between 6, 8, 9 o'clock, I will try that. Once I have a little profit, yeah, put your stop order in and go to sleep. That's the only time I will do it.
There's one thing I will say. If you guys have been trading the last couple of days, the days that we've been up, if you've noticed in the last 10 minutes of trading, the market has sold off aggressively. 2 days ago, we were up 75 handles. We ended up closing only up 30. We sold off aggressively from 3:50 to 4 o'clock, and it happened again yesterday. My analysis of this is that people are not confident, right? When news comes out or Mr. Trump tells everybody to buy the market, which he's actually not supposed to do, but he did it anyway. When the market is in a rally based on some news, we got to deal with China. President told us to buy the market. People are not confident that tomorrow the shoe may fall off, right? And that it's not going to be a sustaining rally. So what we're seeing in the past, when people had confidence in a rally, they held it overnight and they held it into a couple of days. People are still a little bit sketchy about what's going to happen the next day. Is the deal from China going to get pulled off the table? Is something else going to happen that's going to throw the market into a tizzy? So we're seeing that everybody who's in a trend trade, whether you're in the futures or the NQs or whatever you're trading, and you're in it all day and you have a nice profit in it, that by the end of the day, those really aggressive sell-offs that we see at the end of the day is profit taking. It's just old school Wall Street, man. And so people are not confident when the swing trade the rest of the day. So they're selling and taking profits by the end of the day.
And like I said, we have to anyway. By 5 o'clock, we have to close out all our futures positions.
No, but that's a fantastic point Peter points out, right? These
Yep.
big institutions, people looking to invest in stocks, we have confidence. Well, if they have confidence, they're going to look to swing trade. They're going to look to hold their positions. If there's worry in the market, and guys, just like us retail traders, they don't really have a say if the market gaps up overnight either. They don't want to be holding a bad position. So if they're not confident, they're going to then liquidate, and that's what gives us those moves in the afternoon. Great
Yeah, and
stuff, Peter.
if you were a swing trade, going into April, you lost a year's worth of trading in a few days, right? Yeah. If you were swinging any of these big stocks, whatever it was, NVIDIA, whatever they were, when they were making these huge moves up, you got blown out of the water in a week. So,
well, think about last month. There have been days we were up 1,000, down 1,000. We had days where we had intraday reversals of 1,000 points in one day. There was 1 week where we literally, in the first time in history, where we had more than 3% moves in intraday, right? Where we're actually in a bear market by definition at lunchtime and a bull market by the close. Ladies and gentlemen, when I was growing up, I mean, that was a long time ago, but when Walter Cronkite used to get on TV and say Wall Street had a big move today, it was up 3 points. That was how Wall Street, I mean, that was a big day back in the day in the 50s and 60s, right? Now, literally we have 1,000-point intraday reversals. That is unheard of, but that's the world we're living in. So we've got to get used to it. But that means that you need to curate your trading around that kind of potential. And you don't want to leave yourself exposed to a massive blow up of your account. I know if you blow it up, you can reopen a new account at Apex. It's a beautiful, one of the great things, but you shouldn't be planning on that. You should be here to hit singles and doubles and make money every day. If you're green at the end of the day, the week, the month, then you're doing something. You can have a nice career doing that. We don't trade to plan to blow up an account. That's not the way you want to do it. That is not a good way to trade.
Yeah, and Jay, as far as missing that dip, I didn't miss anything. Not only did I not miss anything, anybody who was in my private trading room actually got those lows almost to the penny. But, I could tell you this. I agree with you with hedge funds and media and all that stuff, because Goldman Sachs has changed their tune 5 times in the last 2 months. Okay? Yeah. One of the biggest firms in the world. When we were at those lows, they were saying we're going lower. 150%, because I know it. I documented it. And now that we've had this big giant rally up, they say we're going high. So
they're buying the highs and selling the lows, David.
I mean, when we were at the lows, CNBC every night was markets in crisis, markets in crisis, markets in crisis, right? And they were dead wrong. So as far as analysts or any of that stuff, I take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, we were talking about a recession when it wasn't even on the table. And then they pounded the pavement with that recession for a while. And then the market almost created a self-inflicted recession. And now suddenly we're out of that mode. They actually yesterday downgraded their prediction of a recession from 90% to 30%. It's almost laughable that it's they're like so behind the eight ball that it's kind of nuts, right? It's like the stock is trading at $300 and they're bullish and they put a $302 target on it. But it's already made its move. The stock went from 2 to 3. That doesn't make you a genius.
Yeah, and as far as a good observation in gold, Catan, because gold is a risk-on asset. And if you look at the chart in gold today, I mean, look at this, right? It has done nothing but go down the entire day, and every rally has just been sold, okay? Has just been sold. So when you see the market having these big, giant rallies like this, gold is going to sell off. And this has been actually a great trade all day if you got on this trend, right? Check it out. I mean, we've done nothing but go down the entire day in gold. So when I'm looking at gold now, I'm going to go to a longer-term chart, right? And I don't think gold's always good to own. It's going to go back up because this market's not going to stay up forever. But I start looking at longer trends now. Okay, so here's my daily chart in gold, right? And my first support level, my 65 EMA, is around 31.28. So you know what I do when I see that? Okay, here's what I do. Because I would be a buyer down there. You know, you're talking about down 300 points in less than a week, right? I mean risk off, yes, not risk on. So this is what I do on my charts, okay? I will put an alert in. Go to gold. I want it at or below because I'm a buyer down here. 31, I'll call it 31.30. At or below 31.30. Create, and there's my marker. So I will be a buyer down there. Yeah, so it's risk off when the market starts going up, which is bad for gold. Correct.
That's great. Do you
You
mind
guys
if I
know what I
share-
mean.
You mind? I'm going to share my screen real quick. I want to cover the
sure.
daily time frame of the S&P 500 futures, of the gold futures, and sort of get, David, you and Peter's thoughts on this.
I can show them all if you want on dailies, but go ahead.
Let's see. All right, awesome. So here we have the beginning of the year. This is January 2nd, first trading day of the year. We had our consolidation, and then came our tariff worry. Now, that tariff worry brought us from our all-time highs of 62.35 over 22% to the downside. Now, since this point, this is when Trump had that whole Liberation Day, followed by the real day that gave us a move. And that's when he said, hey, you know what? Tariff relief on all countries for the next 90 days except China. And then it gave the market a huge 10% move to the upside. Now, for us to trend and for us to reverse in the market, we're not going to just reverse for no reason, or else this would have been our reversal. We need some type of economic impact or certainty. This was driven by tariff uncertainty. So when we got the first hint of tariff certainty, we got a strong reaction. We created a higher low. We tried breaking higher. Now, at this point, we're less than, as long as we stay
4.5% off the high.
4.5% off the highs, guys. That is crazy. If you told me 3 weeks ago when we're in that bear market, down 10% off the all-time highs, that's still correction territory. That's bearish market territory. At this point, we're way past that. We're back to the buy side. And this move right here, this is now our second form of tariff news, right? This is when Trump announced that, hey, us in China, we came to a 90-day deal. This is our second 90-day deal. Now, is this going to give us a similar move like we had from here to here, but up here now? That's something we could be looking for, sort of measured move-wise, if we are able to find that momentum, continue higher, and this tariff certainty is stronger, right? Do we get this momentum, or is there going to be a flip side? Now, something I do like to look at when I'm trading futures is I love to look at gold, because gold sort of tells me, should we be expecting some strength on ES, or should we be expecting some range-bound price action? So gold on the daily time frame, we saw ES was making those major lows. Gold was making major all-time highs, up over 30% at this point year to date. This was huge. Gold over 3,400 per ounce, per troy ounce. Huge on gold. At this point, we moved back lower around 3,200. Do you guys see gold continuing lower if markets are able to gauge this strength and continue higher?
Absolutely. Yes, 100%. And like I said, I'll tell you this too, if you could put my chart back up for a second.
Yeah.
We are, okay. So if we look at again, I'll look at the same daily chart. Our RSI on a daily chart in the SPYs now is about 67 on a daily chart. Historically, that is high, okay? Very rarely are we ever going to see an 80 RSI on a daily chart in the SPY. So even if I go back, let's go back. I want to see the last time we were at 67. It was up about here. We were up about 70, and we had a big pullback off that. So we are a little overbought now historically in the SPYs. Again, look where we were here. This is the first time I've seen this, and I don't know if I've ever seen it before. It's very rare. And this is when we had our meeting and started buying stuff. We actually had a 20 RSI in the SPY on April 4th or whatever that day was, right? April 7th, Pete, something like that.
April 7th.
I think it was April 7th. I could go back here, guys, on this chart for almost as far back as I can go. And this never showed a 20 RSI on a daily chart. So that's when we knew the market was extremely, extremely oversold. Just doesn't happen. So anywhere between, 65 and 75 is a little bit overbought now. So I would not be surprised if we got a technical pullback from here, and then you get a bounce in gold. Again, the spot I'm looking, I don't hope, if we keep going up from here and gold goes down, I will be a buyer at 31.28. That's my 65 EMA on a daily chart, and we'd be down 300 points from the high, which is about 10%. So that's where I'd be looking to get back in there. So yeah, we're a little overbought right now. We can keep going, especially if we get more positive news. I hope we do. Everybody should be taking a step back now and be thanking their lucky stars that we are where we are right now. Okay? That's the bottom line, right? Are we up for the year, Pete, 1% or 2%? Forget about the all-time highs. I think we're up for the year now.
We're actually up 0.5%.
All right, there you go. So,
from being down 20, we are down 20. We literally now are in bull territory, which is amazing. Think about it. So what's so significant about this, which also gives you the opportunity to day trade this kind of a market, is the great thing about day trading is when the moves are fast and furious, happen so aggressively and so quickly, it makes for these trades, apart from moving average trade, trend trades, regular moving average trades, so much more significant. As David described earlier, when a stock sort of lingers and slowly goes down or slowly goes up, the reversal and the retracement tends to be less significant. When things happen in a big, fast, aggressive way, we went from February 19th, right? That was the record high of the market, right? Down to it was 8, 12, 11 weeks down to the trough that we saw at the low there on April 7th. I mean, that was an incredible, from literally a record high, okay? If you go back to 2024, we had 218 trading days. We had 58 record highs in 2024. One of the greatest years ever. We closed out the year up 23.8%. An amazing year, okay? We were able to regain the highs once again on February 19th. That was the first day that Mr. Trump came out and said, I'm going to impose 20% tariffs on Canada and Mexico. That was the beginning of the spiral down. And then he had that sort of bipolar, passive-aggressive approach of every day we're going to kick the can down the road. We're going to do tariffs on you and you, aggressively, passively. He kept changing his mind. We never knew where he was going. And that started to erode the confidence in the market, which ended up bottoming out on April 7th. When we were at that bottom, it looked like the bottom was going to fall out of the bottom. In retrospect, we can say, yes, I think David made a great call that day. But most people were looking at it thinking we was about to get way, way worse, and it could have. It's very situational. If he had not started to turn things around, if he had not given us that 90-day pause, we would not be sitting where we are today. You have to realize that was the day we had that bond market thing with China. That was the day of the pause, right? It could have gone really, really much worse from there if it didn't. It turns out, in retrospect, that was a day that Jamie Dimon actually went to the White House and told Mr. Trump, we are about to embark on one of the worst supply chain interruptions in history, worse than COVID. We are about, if the Chinese do not step in and buy the bond market, okay, at 4.5%, and it's forced to go up to 5%, we are going to crash 10% more the next day. And that's why he put the pause on. It was basically I was talking to Steve Leisman, who's the top CNBC reporter for the Federal Reserve. It was basically, we were about to get in some serious, we were down 20%. That was painful enough. But at that point, when we were down there, we was about to get seriously much worse. If somebody had not walked into the Oval Office, I guess maybe the first grown up in the room, and said, we need to make some changes. We got to put a pause on. We can't be picking fights with China. They're the people who buy our bonds. They're the people who own the U.S. debt. and we're in a jam if we don't do something. And that's when it started to pivot. And we pivoted our way back to where we are today. Right now, we're at the crossroads here. We are either going to go much higher because we start to make deals. We start to get the specifics about the deals. We're making deals. Look at AMD today. Look at NVIDIA today. They're spiking up because of major deals with Saudi Arabia. We have a deal with China. We still don't know the particulars of it. But there's so many moving parts, so much going on. All of this could dry up. We could spend a couple of weeks with a bit of a hiatus on news. The market may drift down because people have been riding this wave from April 7th when we saw, or when the market turned around and we hit that low. So anything could happen here. That's why, as day traders, any given day, we are one tweet away from crazy town. You could be in a trade for all the right reasons. And David is an experienced trader and a great trader. He still holds true to every one of his rules. He has a plan in his day, how much he'll make, he'll turn the machine off. He has a stop order on every trade and he never moves it unless he's doing a trailing stop on the way up. He'll never turn a winning day into a losing day or a winning trade into a losing day. If he has 3 bad max limit trades, he turns the machine off and goes home. Okay, revenge trading and over trading are just recipes for disaster. These are the rules that you need to use when you're using the Apex platform and you're trading the futures to not blow up your trading account. And I know that should not be your goal. Thank God you can always just reopen a new one. But our goal should be to hit singles and doubles on a day-to-day basis, to learn to be a better trader down the road. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you treat it that way, you may be up 100, up 500, up 1,000. You will eventually blow up your account, and that's not what we want for you.
100%, Pete. On the button. And when markets are like this, guys and girls, just keep your hands in your pockets. I mean, just look at my chart. We are doing absolutely nothing. So just because we have these accounts doesn't mean that we have to be constantly trading and have 50 or 60 trades a day. That's a best way to blow up your trading account. Like I said, these last 3 days, I love to trade, guys and girls. I want to have 50 trades a day, right? But if they don't set up, I'm not trading because that's not my plan. That is not my plan. I can tell you the last 3 days have it's been very, very slow, which is okay. That's all right. You don't have to be doing something all the time. Brett, you're not alone in writing the book on trading mistakes. Why do you think, and I don't say this to scare people. Over 90% of people who try to do this fail.
They do. They fail.
It is a fact, but it's all for the same reasons. And Peter just talked about a bunch of them, right? It's all for the same reason. First of all, you have to have some kind of plan. Find whatever that is for you. I don't care if it's bookmap. I don't care if it's technical analysis. I don't care if it's Hiroshima candles. I don't care what it is, right? But find something that works for you. Journal your trades. Okay, I'm using this method. These are the results that I'm getting. Okay, I'm doing well. Anything over even a 50 or 55% win rate, you should be making money if you're managing your trades properly, which becomes the next most important thing, right? Getting into trades is half the battle. What you do once you get into trades is just as important as that. And not going on tilt. It's so easy to go on tilt in a $33 account. It's so easy, right? Because let me just push the button again, and let me push the button again, and let me push the button again. But if you're just very patient and disciplined, and again, Peter talked about all this. I get in a trade, I want some quick profit, I ain't losing money on that trade. If I make three good trades in the morning, I'm done for the day. Tomorrow is another day. If I have a bad day where I've lost a few trades, I'm not trading anymore. Because what happens then is it's just going to get worse. You're going to start doing bigger size to get those little trades back that you lost. And you're going to end up again blowing. I've done this, guys and girls, okay?
We all have.
I have had an Apex account funded, beautiful. Requested a payout and blew it before the payout could come. I've done it. Okay. I have done it. We're all human beings. We all go on tilt sometimes, right? You just got to limit the amount of times that happens. You guys see, I have an account for 30-something days now. I've averaged like $800 a day in it. Nothing spectacular. I don't have $7,000 days, and I don't have $7,000 losing days. I can't have 20 accounts like a lot of people do because my job is to teach people how to do this. I have upwards of 100 people in my private trading room. That's my concentration. If I have time to do this stuff, I do it, but I'm a teacher, man. I am a teacher. This is what I do. We take new traders who have never done this before. We take traders who are struggling and just can't get over the hump. And I can't tell you how many great stories we have had just in the last few months, because it has been the prior to this month, and this month was good at the beginning, but our last 2 trading months before this were the best trading months we have ever had in 20 years of doing this, because of the volatility that we've had. If you know what you're doing and you stick to your rules. I can't tell you how many stories I have from people. Dave, I just passed an apex. 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 I'm getting my first payment from apex. I'm getting my second payment from apex. Sanctuary, lots of people have 20 accounts and they copy trade in them, right? Kev, people do that.
Yeah, so you could copy trade it. So if you're used to trading one account, let's say you light size 50K, 25K account, you're used to risking maybe $100 per trade, but you want to start seeing more profits because you've been consistent, then you could duplicate the account. So instead of adding more size to your trade and seeing a bigger risk, you see the same amount of risk, but it's copied against multiple accounts.
Yeah, so if you have 10 accounts and you're making $200 in one of those accounts, you're making $2,000 for the day.
That's right.
Don't change anything that you do, right? Nothing changes. Yeah, guys, you didn't know that? Yeah, go to Apex and buy 20 accounts right now.
Now, use the discount code FFever for 80% off. Go get 20 accounts. And
There
guys,
you
if
go.
you want to learn how to use the 20 this Saturday, I am going to be hosting a free webinar on what Apex Trader is and how you guys could use it. So make sure you guys check that out too. We'll be doing a free Apex giveaway there as well.
You know what, guys? I think everyone should. I just want to reiterate it one more time that tonight at 8 p.m. we are having a masterclass. It's live and it's free. It's me and David Green. It'll be an hour talking about Wall Street Global Trading Academy, talking about technical analysis, talking about stop orders, psychology of trading, all of that stuff. All the stuffs that differentiate a good, successful trader from one who's just blowing up accounts. Please go to wsgta.com, register for tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's live, it's free. And then we'll be talking about our course. We'll be talking about the boot camp. We'll be talking about everything. You guys are obviously on Apex because you want to get in this business of day trading and making money. You surely want to be successful at what you do, right? The platform is perfect. Our course and our academy really have the best educational components out there in the marketplace. You can go to Online Trading Academy, spend 25 grand and not learn half as much as we will teach you. So come and hang out with us tonight. It won't cost you anything. I'll guarantee you one thing. If you spend an hour and a half with me and David Green tonight at 8 o'clock, you will be a 50% better trader by the end of the masterclass, by the end of the webinar.
Yeah,
so
if you take it seriously and pay attention.
Exactly. Can't use your rules, half of your rules and half of Dave's rules. That does not work.
Oh.
Yeah, Apex is not only a cool name, it's a cool place to be, Sanctuary. Yeah, everybody jump in and grab a couple accounts. We have, guys and girls, just so you know, this one part of our course, 3.5 hours of narrated futures trading. Every single rule. Yeah, I mean, that's worth more than our entire course. Course. It's 3.5 hours narrated. Every single rule. We show you how to use bracket orders. We show you how to use Ninja Trader, Tradeovate Trader, anything that you want to trade on, all with Apex. So that alone, the lesson is 3.5 hours. But yeah, everyone come join us tonight. We're gonna have some fun.
That's awesome, guys. What an amazing gift from David and Peter, guys. Make sure you check it out. Was it WSGTA.com? Sign up now and be there at 8:30.
Super simple, and you'll get an invite on the Zoom. It's 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight. Show up. I guarantee you, if you spend an hour and a half with us, you will be a 50% better trader just by following David's 10 commandments of successful day trading.
The 10 commandments.
That's great. Peter, do you have any last remarks going forward into the market?
Sure. You know what? I think we are really at a crossroad here. We've just come out of a bunch of really good news, right? Obviously, the China deal is big. We need a lot of specifics on that. The Saudi Arabia thing is even bigger, right? And we're really happy that Mr. Trump got a brand new plane from Qatar. It's a beautiful thing. But and I hope we all get a chance to ride in it. But at the end of the day, every day going forward for the next 3.5 years is going to be volatile. So just put on your seat. Everyone should go out and build a seatbelt into their trading chair because it's going to be wild. But if you follow the rules and you have a stop order on every trade and you take every day seriously, right? Suddenly you've been given access to the market that was never available before. You all need to realize this, that Apex is giving you an opportunity that was never. Look, when we were growing up in the business, David, you either had 25 grand to be a day trader or not. You had no chance to get in. If you were not an accredited investor, you could not trade this market up until before COVID. Now everybody with an iPhone and $100 can trade the market. You were all invited to this friggin' party that you were never invited to before. Take advantage of it. Don't treat it like it's not the biggest gift in history.
Agreed 100%.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That truly Apex, guys. I mean, I got started trading 6 years ago, and prop firms weren't even big back then. I mean, prop firms are so recent. It's truly amazing. It's jaw dropping, in my opinion, that they give traders this opportunity, and that these prop firms are even profitable too, to be able to give out these payouts, and that they're also keeping a profit. It also makes you think, how much volume are they keeping out of the markets?
Yeah,
prop
100%.
firms weren't available.
That's right. Sanctuary, it is super newbie friendly. We have taught people who don't know the difference between a stock and a clock. It is super newbie friendly. Yeah, we go very slow. We have a lot of people who have never traded before. So, yep, it's for everybody.
That is great, guys. Great resources. Make sure you join us next week too for Futures Fever. I think. Nope, he's talking. Join us every week, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, for Futures Fever for a chance to win a free Apex evaluation. You join me, David, and Peter. We go over market conditions, what's been going on in the past week since we last met. I mean, really just a phenomenal show overall, not just about futures, but about market in general, market context, trends, trade setups that we're looking for. We really try to knock everything out of the park here. So make sure you guys hit that like button, show some support and love. David, Peter, thank you so much for being here today. Always a pleasure.
Our pleasure and our honor to be here. Thank you, Kevin.
Absolutely.